How are you all? Hello, Itanagar. How are you? Okay, so in the last class, we have done the mode, till mode we have covered. And today we are going to learn a different aspect of this statistics, like finding the median using the graphical method. Right? So before starting that one, if you have any doubt, please ask. Itanagar, if you have any doubt in the previous lectures regarding the mean, mode and median. Okay, so if you don't have any doubt, I am giving you one question. Do that question and then we will start with the new one. So the question goes like this. And I hope, Itanagar, you have bought graph paper with you today. Have you? Okay, do you have scale and pencil? Okay, then you can draw the same graph in your notebook, and after going home, then you can draw it in the actual graph paper, right? That's the thing we can do right now if you don't have the graph paper. Okay. So before starting the graph one, first of all do this one. Age of persons are given in this bracket, 5 to 15, 15 to 25, and the number of students are given over here. So you have to find two things over here. Find mode as well as mean. Solve for 2. You can find it by any method. The mean you can find by any method, whichever is suitable to you. And do it properly, don't do any mistake, because we have done so many questions till now. Itanagar, your answer for the mean is very different, but for the mode, it is very close, but not the exact one. Okay, let us solve this one. So we have to find the mean and mode, right? So what we can do, for finding the mean, we know we have to find the class mark. So how we can find the class mark? The x value, the frequency is given. The class mark will be the middle value of the class interval. So adding lower limit and upper limit, 20 and that will be 10. Then it will be 20, 30, 40 and 50. And this will be 60. So frequency is 6, 11, 21, 23, 14 and 5. Now either we can do it like value, whatever value is given, we can multiply them, or we can assume it, some of the mean we can assume. Let us say we take the value of A, which is our assumed mean. Let us say it has to be 30. So what we have to do over here, xi minus A. So 10 minus 30, minus 20, 20 minus 30, minus 10, then 0, then 10, then 20, then 30. And we can divide them by some value also. Let us say that k value is, let us say, divided by 10. So what we will write over here, xi minus A divided by k, dividing by 10. So minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now we can multiply, and let us say this one is u and this one is d. So let us say now we will multiply the ui into fi. So ui into fi, when we multiply this 6 into minus 2, that would become minus 12. 11 into minus 1, 21 into 0, 23 into 1, 14 times 2, and 5 times 3, right? After this, we have to add them. So when we will add these values, so this 12 and minus 11, that is minus 23, and this plus 23 will get cancelled out. So 28 and 15 we are getting. So 28 and 15, it will be 43. Similarly, if we add all the values of f, that will be it will be 80. Now we can find the mean. Mean would be equal to A plus, we have to add this one, k times sigma fi ui divided by sigma f. That would be A is 30 plus 10 times 43 by 80. That would be the mean. So 430 divided by 80. So basically 43 divided by 8. So if we see 43 divided by 8, so 8 5 times 40 and 3, 8 3 is a 24, 6, so 5.37 basically. So 35.37 years. That is the value of the mean. 35.37. Itanagar, you are getting 42.125. That is a little bit different value, not the exact one. So is this clear to all of you? Shillong, Itanagar, how I am getting mean as 35.37? Okay, you got the mistake. Like, what was the mistake you were doing while calculating this one? Itanagar, have you figured out the mistake? Okay, okay. Please take care of the calculation method, because these questions are very easy, and the scoring one also. One basic mistake and the entire question is wrong. Okay. Now, let us solve for the mode. Now you know, while calculating for mode, we just have to figure out the first of all the modal class. So modal class is the class which has the highest frequency. So out of here you can see highest frequency is 23. So this is the modal class. So this will be F1, this will be F0, and this will be F2. Only these three things. Now we can find the mode, and I hope you remember the formula for the mode. Mode is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 over 2F1 minus F0 minus F2 into H. The H is the class size. So lower limit of the modal class is 35 plus F1 minus F0, 23 minus 21 over 2 times of 23, which is 46, minus 21 minus 14, and the class size is of 10. So we can just simply simplify this expression. We will get the answer for the mode. So 23 minus 21 is 2, and this 21 and 14 will become 35. So 46 minus 35, that would be 11. So it is 20 over 11. 20 over 11, 1.7. So 1.8. Sorry. So 36.8 is the mode. That answer is right, Itanagar, 36.81. Only that thing. The main thing was the finding the mean. Is this clear to Shillong also and Itanagar? All the students? So shall we move ahead? Is this clear till now? Any doubt? The correct, you are getting 35.37. That is right, Itanagar. You are fine, because it is not mentioned like which method you have to use. You have found it by the direct method. Answer is 35.375. So I am getting 35.37. If you will, we have to give the answer to 2 decimal place. That is sufficient. Your answer is also correct. Okay. So now note down the next heading, the next section of this chapter we are going to do today. This is cumulative frequency polygon. So you know what is the cumulative frequency. Adding the successive frequencies will give us cumulative frequency. So right now what we have to draw? We have to draw the cumulative frequency polygon, and this cumulative frequency polygon is known as an ogive. The spelling is O-G-I-V-E. It is pronounced as ogive. So we have to learn how we can draw the cumulative frequency polygon and how we can use this cumulative frequency polygon in finding the median. That is the application of this one. So you know that cumulative frequency can be found in 2 ways, either the less than type or the more than type. So basically we can say we can make 2 types of curve. or two types of polygon by less than method and second one is by more than method. We have to draw the cumulative frequency polygon. So as the name indicates, cumulative frequency polygon, so basically we have to find the cumulative frequency and then we have to plot it on the graph. So suppose if we are doing the less than method, so we have to find the cumulative frequency of all the class interval in the terms of less than method. So there are key points over here which you have to take care of. First thing is that you can say the steps how we can draw. So first point says start with upper limit of class interval and then find CF, mark upper limit along x-axis and CF on the y-axis. So we have to start with the upper limit. We have to consider only the upper limit of the class interval in the less than type, and we have to plot the upper limit points on the class and x-axis and the cumulative frequency on the y-axis. And then we have to join all points. That connection of all those points will give you the ogive of less than type. Similarly, so note down these 4 points first. These are the steps by which we can draw that. Let me know when you are done with the writing part. Itanagar, we have two cumulative frequency polygon because cumulative frequency can be written in two different ways. One is the less than type and second one is the more than type. That's why we can draw two types. Now, in order to make the more than type, all the process is same. So in the more than type, what we have to do, we have to consider the lower limit of the class interval. Like here, we were considering the upper limit of the class interval. In this one, we have to consider the lower limit. So you can say start with okay, because polygon is a figure, we can say a closed figure made up of only line segment, that is known as a polygon, right? So here also the graph is a closed figure. It starts from the bottom of the x-axis and goes up to top, and it is made up of line segment. That is why it is known as a polygon. So here it says start with the lower limit of class interval and then find CF. Right, rest of the things are same. Mark lower limit along x-axis, cumulative frequency along y-axis, plot points and join them. Just note it down, these these are not so important, because when you will do the question, everything will be clear to you, like how to attempt these questions. All of you have noted down? Shillong? Only one student is present in Shillong. Is this Sonu? Raise your hand. Okay, so let us start with the question based on these ogives. So you will get a pretty much good idea like what we have to do over here. So question says, so this is the data given. It says draw an ogive and cumulative frequency polygon for following frequency distribution by less than method. It is already mentioned in the question that we have to do it by less than method, and these are given the marks of the student with a class interval of 10, 10, like 0 to 10, 10 to 20 and so on. And number of students are also given in each class interval. So that is the thing which is given to you, and using this data we have to draw an ogive and the cumulative frequency polygon for following frequency distribution by less than method. Now how we can do that? First of all, this thing is very important over here, that less than method. In less than method, we have to consider the upper limit of every class interval. So you know the upper limit of each class interval is this. So we will write like this. We can draw one table. Marks less than, and then we will write the upper limit of each interval, which is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. and this is the cumulative frequency we will write. So now marks less than 10, you can see from 0 to 10 it is 7, and from 0 to 10 it means basically if all the integers are there, we mean 0 to 9 only. So 0 to 10, there are 7 students whose marks are 0 to 10. Less than 20, it means it include all the values 0 to 10 and 10 to 20 also. So less than 20 is 7 plus 10, which is 17. Less than 30 means adding 23 to this one, that would become 40. Less than 40 means adding 51 to this one also, so 40 plus 51 is 91. Then 91 plus 6, 96, and 96 plus 3, 99. Oh, it would be 91 plus 6, that would be 97, sorry. And 97 plus 3, that would be 100. This is the cumulative frequency which we have drawn of the less than type. Now what we have to do, after writing this thing, on your graph paper, draw the x-axis and the y-axis. So I am drawing with a free hand. My line will not be a straight one, but you have to draw it with the scale. So draw the x-axis and the y-axis like this. On the x-axis, we have to write the marks, and the less than value we have to write on the x-axis. So it is less than 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So we have to write these values over here. So on the x, we have written the marks. On the y-axis, we have to write the cumulative frequency. Now you can see it is going from 7 to 100. Maximum value is 100. So it depends on you, in whatever interval you want to divide, you can divide this. Let's say I am dividing in the interval of 10, 10. According to the data and according to the graph, you can divide, make the interval. That's up to you. So after writing the cumulative frequency on the y-axis, marks of less than on the x-axis, we just have to plot these values. Plotting these values means, like first one is 10 and 7. So 10, 7 we have to plot. It will be somewhere over here. Then 20, 17. Then 30, 40. Then 40, 91. $50, 97. And 60, 100. So these are the values I have drawn. Now what you have to do, you just have to join these values. And make sure you have to join it with the help of scale. So it should look like a segment. And you can name the point 10, 7, 20, 17, 30, 40, 4091, 5097 and 6000. Now what we will do here, the interval was 0 to 10. The first interval was 0 to 10. So if you go beyond 0 to 10, before 0 to 10 it should be minus 10 to 0, and by default we will assume that the velocity in this interval from minus 10 to 0 is 0. So basically the less than 0 is 0. So we will start our graph from here, from the origin. Less than 0 is 0. So we will join this line. So this graph which you are getting is known as the cumulative frequency polygon of less than type, and ogive of less than type. That is called this thing. We use ogive in real life in finding the median value. We will do those questions like how we can find the median of any data using the ogive. See, now the main difference while drawing the ogive, you have to draw a freehand curve. As you can see in the question, it says draw an ogive and cumulative frequency polygon. Two things we have to draw. So only difference between these two is that in ogive you have to draw a freehand curve. After plotting the point, just join them with the freehand. That is the freehand curve. And cumulative frequency polygon, join the points, join the point vertices with line segment. That is the difference between these two. In the curve, freehand, in the ogive you have to draw the freehand curve. In the cumulative frequency polygon you have to join the points with the line segment. Both are same, it is with the freehand and it is with the line segment. That's it. Yes. Ogive means a freehand curve. This has to be done with a freehand, and that cumulative frequency polygon, that should be done with the help of line segment, or you can say with the help of scale. Don't draw ogive with the help of scale, draw it with the free hand. Are you getting this, all of you? Yes, if they are asking draw both of them, then there will be two graphs. Like the first one, if it is ogive graph, we will draw it with a free hand. Second one, for the line segment, it would be with the help of scale, proper scales. Same coordinate, we have to join one with the free hand, second one with the line segment. Any other doubt, Itanagar? And make sure that one thing, see, if they are asking you to draw both of them, then you have to draw both of them. Marks will be divided in that way also. Like if they are asking draw an ogive only, then you can draw one. If they are asking draw an ogive as well as the frequency polygon, then you have to draw both of them. Simple as that. See, Itanagar, the question is still the same. Like if they are asking only draw an frequency polygon curve, right? So curve means a free hand. And if they are asking to draw the cumulative frequency polygon, then you have to draw with the help of line segments. Any other doubt? And one more thing you have to make sure that you can see that here I have plotted this 10 and 7 as my first coordinate, which I have plotted over here, right? Before that, what we have to assume, like it is 0 to 10, then before 0 to 10 there was an interval of minus 10 to 0. We will assume in that case the frequency is 0. That's why the less than 0 is 0, so that's why we are having the first coordinate as 0, 0, and we will join it to this one. Getting it? Basically, we have to start from the x-axis. So, we will assume whatever is not given, we will assume in that interval the frequency is 0, and we will touch our point on the x-axis, the starting point on the x-axis. You have to show, you have to show that, like when you are drawing an ogive, you can see here this thing, I have drawn an extra thing, I have joined this to 0, because I have started from the x-axis and it was written that before 0, less than 0, the frequency was 0. So one coordinate was 0, 0. Let us do one more question, then more of your doubts will be cleared in that question also. Okay. So let us try this one. Yes, they will deduct marks Itanagar. If you not, it is not joined to 0, it is starting from the x-axis. From the bottom, you cannot start somewhere in the middle in the case of less than type. You have to start. If you don't start, they can deduct some marks. So let us do one more question. This is the question given. Scores are given from 400 to 450, 450 to 500 with the interval of 50, and the number of students are given as the frequency, like those students who got score 400 to 450 are 20, 35 and so on. Now it is asking us to draw cumulative frequency curve. Cumulative frequency curve it is asking us to find. It means with the help of free hand we have to draw. By less than and more than method. We have to draw it by both the method, the less than and the more than. So first of all, note down the question, then we will do simultaneously. Note it down. Noted all of you? Itanagar, have you noted? Shall we start? Okay, so now it is asking us to find the cumulative frequency curve. Make sure with the help of free end by less than and more than methods. So we will find the cumulative frequency of both of them. So first of all, do scores less than. Now in case of less than, we have to consider the upper limit of every class. So scores less than 450, less than 500, 550, and what is the cumulative frequency we can figure out. Less than 450, that would be 20. Then less than 500, it will be 20 plus 35 both. Then 55 plus 40, 95 plus 32, then it is 127 plus 24, 151 plus 27, it is 196, and it will be 230. So first table I have drawn of the scores less than type. Second table we can draw for scores more than. One is for less than, second one will be for more than. In case of more than, remember that we have to consider the lower limit of the class interval. So we will say more than 400, more than 450, 500, and then we can write. So now when we are writing the score more than 400, it means we have to consider all the frequencies from 20 till 24, adding all of them, that would become 230. Then we have to subtract the subsequent. More than 450, it means we will subtract the 20 from there. Then we will subtract the 35. So more than 500. And more than 550, subtracting 40. Then subtracting 24. Sorry, 32. And then more than 650. Then more than 700. More than 400. 1 second. Oh yeah, it's 220. So it will be more than 400, it will be 220. Then 220 minus 20, that will be 200. Then more than 500, that will be 200 minus 35, that will be 165. Then subtracting 40, that will be 125. Then subtracting 32, that would be 93, then subtracting 24, the 69, and subtracting then 27, subtracting then 18, that will be the value for the cumulative frequency. And here it will also be 220. These are the values, right? So scores less than this one and more than this one we have done. Now only thing is we have to plot it on the graph. So while drawing the graph, so we can draw it like this. So you can see when we are going to plot the values less than, and cumulative frequency will be on the y-axis. So we can write these because we have to write the values up from 400, and then all the values with a gap of 50, maximum value is 800. So 400 to 800 we have to go with a gap of 50 each. So we can start from here, 400, 450, 500, 550, 600, 650, 700, 750 and 800. And you can see the cumulative frequencies are very much different. So all the values are different. So you can see the minimum value is 20 and maximum value is 220. So we can go them with the 20 to 220. We can make a gap of 20 also. So we can start with the minimum 20. Because we have to go up to 220 maximum. Yeah, so it will be satisfied. So this is 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180, 200, 220 and 240. So this is the cumulative frequency we have drawn. Now after this we have to take care of the, so first of all let us draw the less than type. So in case of less than type, so on 450 we have the value 20. That zigzag line, that the kink, yeah, you can draw it over here like this. This kink you are talking about? Yeah, I was about to draw it after the graph, so you can draw it. So now the values 450, 20, 55 and 95. So this is 20. Then we have to go for 55. And then we have to go for 95. One two seven, 151 and 178. Okay, so I have drawn all the values. You can see, you can also draw these, and now make sure that one thing which we have to keep in mind while drawing the less than type, you can see the interval, the starting interval was 400 to 450, right? If we go one step beyond that, you can see one of the interval would be 350 to 400, and we will assume that in that case the frequency is 0 by assumption. So it means on the coordinate 400 the frequency would be 0, the cumulative frequency would be 0. So we will take this 400 also into the consideration, and then we can join them. Like this we can join, and you can name the points over here. Whatever are the coordinates there, you can name them. This is the less than type. Draw it, and when you are done, just let me know. All of you have drawn this graph. Okay, now this is the less than type. Now the same procedure we will do with the more than type. So in the more than type, we can see the starting point is 400 and the cumulative frequency is 220. So 400 comma 220, that is the starting value. So all of you draw this, all of you draw these coordinates in your graph also. Okay, so I have plotted all the points. Now again I will join them with the freehand. And since I am drawing all the diagram with the freehand, but you have the scale and pencil, so draw it very neat and clean. And one thing, concentrate over here again, as we have done in the less than type, like we have joined this to the, you can see the bottom of 400 we have joined. Here also we will assume that it says that more than 750, similarly it will be more than 850 also, or 800. So again we will assume that more than 800, there is nothing more than 800, so we will assume the frequency is 0 over there. So that's why we will join this up to bottom of 800 like this. So in the more than type, the last one will be joined to the x-axis. In the less than type, the starting one will be joined to the x-axis. So this is the less than type and the more than type. All of you are getting it? Yes, then we have, you are saying that when we have to show more than 800 frequency 0 in the table. No, if you want to show in the table, you can show it. Otherwise, you can write one statement regarding this this thing. Like since there is no frequency in the interval of 800 to 850, so there will be more than 800, it will be 0. So either you can add that point in the, you can show it in the table, or you can write one statement regarding this. Anything you can do. And same for the less than type, right? And same for the less than type. So this way your frequency polygon would be completed. And this one is less than type. And this one is more than type. Any other doubt? And make sure to mention the coordinates. I have made only these brackets over here, but you have to write the coordinates over here. What are the coordinates you are using? Yes. Cumulative curve means ogive. Less than ogive or more than ogive. Any other doubt? Okay. So now we will take a quick break of 5 minutes, and then after the break, I'll give you one more question, then you can practice that one also. Okay, welcome back students. So till now we have covered how to draw an frequency polygon and cumulative frequency curve, which is known as an ogive of less than type and the more than type, both of them. So now draw one of the curve for this data. This is the data given. Draw cumulative frequency curve of less than type. Now you know how to draw it. Okay, draw it fast and let me know. Are you able to draw it or is there any doubt? Are you able to draw, Itanagar? Okay, okay, do it, do it. So I have drawn somewhat like this: age less than, cumulative frequency. Then on 6 we have 40, on 7 we have 96, 8 we have 156, 9 we have 222, and on 10 we have 306. So now joining them with the free hand like this. And one thing, since we have to start from the bottom, it is less than 6, so the interval is 5 to 6, 6 to 7. So we'll take one more interval before that one. So let's say that interval is 4 to 5, and in that one the frequency is 0. So it means less than 5, it will be 0. So 5 will be over here. So it will be 0 from here. And you can make a kink over here like this. So that is the done. And then plot the coordinate points also, write the coordinates, whatever, and make sure that the graph should be a labeled one. This x-axis, y-axis, what are the values of the x-axis? You have to write it over here, like it is age on the x-axis, CF on the y-axis, and the graph, everything. So is it clear till now? Any difficulty in Itanagar? Now what you have to do, since you have not bought the graph paper today, so the same graph, all the graph which we have done 3-4 graph, same graph, try to do it on the actual graph paper, right, with a neat and clean diagram. And please bring the graph paper in the next class also, because again we are going to do the graphical questions based on the same concept of the statistics. So do bring the graph paper, the new graph paper, and these graph papers also, like complete these on the actual graph paper and bring these also. Okay, so that's all for today. So then we will continue then in the next class, and don't forget to bring the graph paper in the next class. Okay then, bye.